Okay, last example and very much extension. Process hasn't changed. The reason why this one is so hard is because it's not particularly obvious whether to substitute in X or Y, and both ways have their issues. Let's try to do it with X in terms of Y. Take 5x, move the 7y to the other side, and then divide by 5. 2 divided by 5, 0.4. 7 divided by 5, 1.4. Then we have to substitute it in, and the process is exactly the same. X is replaced with X, and the minus 3 stays exactly where it is. Before we expand the square, we simplify the 0.4 and minus 3 so that we're not doing unnecessary work. Then we are exquisitely careful about doing this correctly, but the calculators make fairly light work of it. Simplify all the terms, stick them in our calculator, and we get the two x values. No, we don't. We get the two y values because we chose to solve for y. The process is exactly the same though. We now calculate x backwards from our two found y values, and then we're very careful to write them in the right way round, x and y. Despite solving for y first, still the second part of the brackets. So just the same process, you just have to accept that you're going to substitute it exactly where it is, and sometimes you have to simplify as you go down. Let's try it the other way around though, see how that works. So we're going to write y in terms of x. Now we have a problem because 7 doesn't divide in as a nice round number, and as we'll see, this actually makes this way much more difficult. Still, we'll persevere. So that's y in terms of x, and we substitute in y into the ellipse. Then we are very, very careful about expanding that bracket and then multiplying it by 3. So at this point, almost everyone gets it wrong. So I don't recommend doing it this way, because of the difficulty of expanding that and multiplying by the number in front and not making a mistake. Still, it can be done. The calculators make this a lot easier. Stick it in our calculator. Now at this point, we can cross out all the 49s because we can just multiply the whole fraction by 49. So we'd just have 124 minus 3 by 4. And there's our x values, which we substitute in to get our y values, and we get the same answers, slightly different because of rounding, but only in the third significant figure. So it works, but it's a lot more difficult. My recommendation is, if you have an equation like this, you always write it in terms of the variable whose coefficient leads to nice easy fractions.